This channel is proudly sponsored by Deatholation Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released the Whispers of Copperridge adventure module. You will find all of the links in the description and in the pinned comment. Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring S.M.A.S.H Revised Edition. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this asymmetrical, almost diceless superhero tabletop RPG, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about various combat nuances, starting with skill moves. On occasion, a player character may come up with an idea for a move that they want to perform that does not fall within the standard or power moves available to them. When they do so, the game master and the player character can discuss what they think the move should involve. Of course, I would expect that they do this before or after the session. They have three things they need to decide: the type of move, the skill used and difficulty needed to be successful, and the intended effect, which should be in the form of a condition gained or applied to one or more other characters. But definitely this is better handled before or after the session. I would recommend that if you are running the session and one of the players decides to attempt some of these unorthodox actions, you handle things through roleplay. Let's say that the player is participating as a superhero martial artist and he carries out this flurry of blows. The typical flurry of blows in the style of Fist of the North Star. If the game master considers that it is actually a full round action, he could describe the following when the action is being taken. As you unleash the barrage of blows, you realize that it took more time than expected. It is a full round action. And that way, in character, in the game, in the context, you inform the player that the action was actually a full round action. Or maybe the action didn't take so long. You could narrate. As you finish your barrage of blows, you realize that you still have time to take another action, and so forth. Now, when it comes to damage, players and villains alike have a hit points stat. As such, characters take damage. They reduce their hit points score. When a character's hit points is reduced to 0, they become unconscious. They are slammed and cannot perform any moves or reactions. We will talk about slammed in a few moments. Apart from free moves or reactions that allow them to recover hit points. Between scenes, characters recover all of their hit points, although the game master may place narrative restrictions or consequences on this recovery period. When it comes to overpower, whether by applying extra effort, channeling a greater amount of energy or other means, player characters can choose to amplify the strength of their power moves. Overpowering a move in this way allows you to temporarily increase any of your stats, defense, power, etc. for the purpose of that move. You can increase any of your stats to a maximum of 10, spending +2 power points for each additional point of stat. If you use this on an effect that lasts the scene, it only gains the benefits of overpower until the start of your next turn. When it comes to conditions, they are essentially a shortcut to the rules for a common effect, whilst there are some power moves and other game effects that specify a character gaining or losing a particular condition and the ability to gain or give out conditions with skill moves. The game master can also give them out for narrative situations that occur during the game. So for example, you have conditions such as advantage. A character with this condition is in a better than normal situation. Maybe they have the drop on their opponents, or maybe they are trying to negotiate for a favor from someone who is a fan of theirs. Characters with advantage increase the damage that they deal by 2, or gain a +2 bonus to any skills when trying to discover clues. Advantage can be given to a player in two ways, referred to as with advantage or gain advantage. When it comes to with advantage, advantage can be given as an effect that lasts just for a specific move, such as the fan situation that I have mentioned, or giving you a +2 bonus on that particular skill use. When it comes to gain advantage, advantage can be given out as a spendable resource, which means that the player can keep it for the rest of the scene, and use it to gain its bonus at any point they feel it might help. There are also other conditions such as aerial. If you have this condition, you are flying or otherwise in a position above the ground, not physically connected to anything, and in control of your movement. Otherwise, you are just falling. Aerial characters can only be attacked by ranged attacks, or by other characters in the same zone who also have the aerial condition. And of course we have slammed. Many superhero powers can send their enemies flying and sprawling on the floor, knocking them momentarily senseless, or otherwise cause their target to require a few seconds to gather themselves before getting back to full combat readiness. Whilst slammed, a character cannot change position between zones and suffers disadvantage on their attacks. As a free move, a character may remove this condition, but if they do so, they suffer disadvantage until the end of their turn. And the number of zones that they can move with a positioning move is reduced to half its usual value. And these are just a few of the conditions. There are many others such as impaired senses, harm, entangled, ambushed. Now let's talk about your position in the map, or the map zones. It says here that it is always a good idea for the game master to draw a map, to help the players keep track of where all the different characters involved are located. Now, this isn't necessarily so. As you have seen in many of my actual plays, there are even complex dungeon expeditions where the players simply were not keeping track of their location. They only have like rough sketches perhaps, or some notes. This is because through roleplay you can always locate where your character is at. I look around to see my current location, and the game master can tell you are still within the room despite the earthquake, or despite the attack that you have just received, you still find yourself within the vicinity of the park. So you can always locate where your character is at through roleplay, by looking around. In fact, through roleplay, you can even describe how you move from one zone or room or location to the other. I go back to the room with the two paintings and the statue in the middle. As simple as that. Now it says here, the map should be divided up into rough zones. Each zone in the map should represent the sort of distance an ordinary person could jog in 10 seconds or so, about 25 meters. However, the scenery of the map can also impact how you define your zones, with stairs, walls, and doors, making excellent boundaries for where one zone starts and another ends. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about character creation. So this section is really good because in the case of conditions, they are not there to overwhelm you. They are there to handle the various effects, changes, and happenings that could fall upon any character. When it comes to the handling of those skill moves, like I said, through roleplay you can handle any sort of crazy idea that the player could have when it comes to using the powers, the skills, the traits of his or her player character in creative ways. And when it comes to the map zones, as I have mentioned, you can always handle things as well through roleplay. You don't need an entire sketch of the area, just look around. But definitely make sure that you inform the game master where you are moving, where you are standing, in order to keep things clear and in order for the game master not to create some additional challenges. If you never mentioned that you move into the building, maybe the meteorite shower now is falling upon your character. If you never mentioned that you jump into the pool, then you won't be shielded from the explosion. It's all about that. Thank you for watching this part of the review. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel through PayPal or TTRPG, the information will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been Abraham El Jaguar, a professional game master. I am currently unavailable for professional sessions, but I will put my contact information in the description and in the pinned comment for when I am available again. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.